And welcome to Christ-centered foundational yoga or yoga basics. I've kind of renamed it. I don't know. I keep playing with the name because it's really just a foundational practice to learn the basics and feel comfortable at any level in this practice. So we're going to start on our back today. So just make your way down onto your back. I have a little support for the back of my head. If you have something great, you could always roll up the edge of your mat too. And then just extend the legs long, turn the palms upward, allowing your body to begin to ground down. Just feel the space within your body, taking your attention to the physical body to notice any sensations that you're feeling this morning in this moment. Just starting to bring awareness, turning our attention inward. So you might notice some places that feel tight. You might notice some places that feel spacious. You might notice a place that's uncomfortable. Just allow it to be whatever it is. It's just information. It's just helping us to know and understand where our body is so that we can show up in our practice and give our body what it needs. And as you do that, begin to notice your breathing. So how fast or slow are you breathing? Is there any sort of rhythm to your breath? How deep or shallow? Just kind of notice where the breath is located. And then begin to expand your breath. So we're going to start to slow the breath and deepen our breathing, filling up into the lungs completely. Exhaling out for at least 3 breaths through an open mouth. This is going to help us let go of held stress and tension in the body, also the chemicals associated with fight or flight. And bring the body into a state of relaxation. So slow, deep, rhythmic breaths in through the nose, out through an open mouth. And after you've done 3, you can continue to do this letting go breath. Or you can switch where you're just breathing in and out through the nose, but make sure your breath is deep and slow and rhythmic. Today, we celebrate one of the greatest civil rights activists of all time. And I want to focus on his legacy and his message because it is so scriptural. It aligns with everything that Jesus taught us. And that is to love one another, to come together in unity. John chapter 13, verse 34 says, "And now I give you a new commandment. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." And the word for love is the Greek word agapeo. This word is the kind of love that God has for Jesus, that Jesus has for us, and that as followers of Christ, we are commanded, not just suggested, we are commanded to love each other in this way. Unconditional, sacrificial love. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. That is why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant." Unarmed truth and unconditional love. In 1 John chapter 3, verse 18, it says, "Little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and in truth." And so today I want us to just spend some time kind of contemplating, opening our hearts to the type of love that we are called to. A love that transcends all circumstances. A love that transcends color, age, ability, sexual orientation. A love that is universal, that draws us together as one, that does not discriminate, that is not biased. A love that truly unites. Go ahead and bend into your knees. We'll place the feet on the earth. And then take your arms out wide. So the palms are facing up, almost like you're wrapping your arms around the world here. A big, open, expansive, loving hug. And let your heart continue to just fill with love, letting go like you're breathing out anything that goes counter. And of course, my landscaper showed up right now. So remember that yoga is an inward journey. We're turning our attention inward, removing distractions and noise, just allowing ourselves to be fully present. Let your knees splay open, bringing the soles of your feet together. So we're opening into the hips, just allowing our entire front body to be open and spacious here. And just allowing time, breath, and gravity to begin to open the hips without forcing. Love never forces. Love invites. Love stands at the door and knocks and waits for us to open the door and let love in. Keeping your arms stretched wide, we're going to begin to bring the left knee over to meet the right knee. So you're just going to close your book like your legs are a book, and now you're closing that book. On the inhale, open the book back up. And then on the exhale, we're going to take the right knee to meet the left. Inhale, open the book. And we're just going to keep doing this a few times. So going from side to side on the exhale, you'll notice you're getting a little bit of a twist here. You might even get a little bit of popping and cracking into that low back. But we're also internally and externally rotating our hips to create some lubrication for ease of movement and restore range of motion. Next time the knees go to the left, just allow them to stack on top of each other. If you want to, you can take your left hand and take a hold of the backside of your right leg and draw your leg a little closer into a deeper twist. That's up to you. Keep the right shoulder relaxed on the floor, on the earth, as if your shoulder is weighted. So we're keeping that heart nice and open. Maybe your gaze goes over your left hand, a little twist into the neck. Beautiful job. Slowly release that twist. Come back into that butterfly shape with our legs. And then we'll bring the left knee over to meet the right. Left arm is stretched out, palm faces up. Again, you can take your right hand behind the back of your top leg if you like, taking a little deeper twist. But again, never force. Just breathe here. Let your breath be easy. Let your breath be soft. So, how do we open ourselves to unconditional love? How do we love our neighbor as ourself? It's a tall order, what we're called to. But the reality is that it requires us to see beyond our differences and look for whatever unites us. What do we have in common? The blood running through each and every one of our veins is the same color. The air that we breathe is the same air. God's very breath and blood flow through us, we're told in Ephesians. And what if God was among us? What if He was one of us? Slowly begin to come back. We're going to draw our knees toward our chest. Give our knees a little squeeze. Rock here side to side. Just a little softening into the low back, a release. This also helps with digestion and elimination. And then slowly begin to roll to one side. So we're just going to roll into like a fetal position, pausing there for a moment. And then begin to bring yourself up to an all fours position. I'm like full of dried grass now. All right. Literally, I am covered in dry grass. Okay. So the knees are going to come directly underneath the hips and the hands fan nice and wide. Place them down right below your shoulders. Good. We're going to just start to bring a little bit of movement to our hips. So we're going to start with just the hips. We're going to curl the hips under. So like you're tucking your tail down. And then on the inhale, lift your tail up. So just a little gentle rocking, pelvic tilting, just the pelvis. Everything else stays the same. Good. We're going to start to make that a little bit bigger. So this time, lift the tail, press the navel down. Then curl the tail, draw the navel in. So we're going a little bigger with it. Inhale, lift the tail, press the navel down. Exhale, curl the tail, draw the navel in. Good. Couple more like this. And then we're going to start to move it up even higher. So this time, lift the tail, press the navel down. Now slide your heart forward. Try not to move the head just yet. We always tend to lead with our head. We want to lead with our heart. Curl the tail under, draw the navel in. Now lift the heart upward, rounding your back. Inhale, lift the tail, press the navel down, slide the heart forward, lead with your heart. Exhale, curl the tail, draw the navel in, round your back. Good. Now I'm going to allow you to use the head. So inhale, lift the tail, press the navel down, slide the heart forward, and take your gaze up. Exhale, curl the tail, draw the navel in, round the back, chin to chest. So we let the heart lead. That's one of the ways that we can find unconditional love. It's our brain that interferes how we see these potential differences as barriers between us rather than looking past and letting our hearts lead us. We're going to come into a neutral tabletop position. So we're nice flat back here. Press into your left hand. And then we're going to stretch and reach the right hand high up toward the heavens here, reaching. We want God's way to live in us and through us. We want to be more like Christ. On the exhale, thread the needle. We're going to barely touch down, just resting the right shoulder and ear to the earth. Good. Inhale, stretch and reach. Be of heaven and earth. So we are here on this earth, but we're not supposed to look like the earth. We're supposed to be citizens of heaven here, a reflection of God's glory here. Inhale, lift. Opening the heart. Exhale, thread that needle. This time we're gonna rest down. So right shoulder and ear rests. You can reach that left hand forward if you want to, or you can keep the elbow bent and press into that hand a little to find a little deeper twist. This opens the heart. So we're stretching and twisting into our thoracic spine around our heart, making space. Beautiful job on the inhale. Stretch and reach, coming all the way up. Sorry for you guys out there on Zoom that I'm talking louder. Feel free to turn your volume down, but I'm trying to talk over the landscapers. All right, we'll press into that right hand. Take the left hand high, reach. Exhale, thread that needle. Coming through. Inhale, stretch and reach. Exhale, thread. Good. Inhale, stretch and reach. Lengthening. And exhale, thread that needle. And then we're going to lower down, left shoulder and ear. Rest on the earth. You can walk that hand forward or take any other variation with that right hand. Some people like to reach up or wrap it around their back. It's whatever feels good for your body. Today, it feels good for me to press into the earth and like stretch my back open. Oh, it feels so good. Beautiful job. Slowly begin to press into that right hand. Once again, stretch and reach, left hand high. And then we'll float that hand down. Good. We're going to walk the hands forward. And then just begin to slide our hips forward, bring the thighs to the earth, and then the belly, and then the chest. Good. So our hands are going to be alongside our rib cage, pressing into the tops of the feet with the big toes stretching back. Legs will engage, so kind of feel the kneecaps even lift up off the earth. Hug the elbows into your ribs and slide the shoulders away from your ears. Awesome, good job. On the inhale, we're gonna press into the hands, just lift up a tiny bit. Now, if you want to, you can add lifting that right foot up. It's up to you. On the exhale, we'll lower down, right cheek to the mat. Beautiful. This time we're gonna inhale, lift up again, maybe lift that left foot. If not, just keep it down. Exhale, lower down, left cheek to the earth. They're called cobra lifts. On the inhale, we're going to press up into cobra, lifting. Exhale, lower down, right cheek to the mat. Inhale, lifting left foot. And exhale, lower down. I like to do things in 3, so we're going to do one more set. Inhale, lifts. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Keeping the hands where they are, we're going to press ourselves up. Take the hands so that they're, maybe you're lining your pinkies up with the edges of your mat, but the index fingers are pointed forward. Knees should be about hip width distance. Tuck those toes. And then we're going to press our hips high and back, bringing our chest toward our thighs. So we'll begin to lift into a down dog. Now, if this is too much, no big deal. Keep the knees down and you'll do half dog. We're going to walk it out, pressing the chest back toward our thighs. Hips are lifting up and back, kind of walking it out, taking the weight toward our heels. Nice job. Bend into both knees. And then we're going to walk the feet, literally one step at a time, to the front of our mat. Let the feet be about hip width distance apart. So that's like 2 fists to the insides of your feet with your feet pointed forward. Bend those knees deeply and let your belly and rib cage rest on your thighs. Let your head hang for just a moment. Just letting go. So many reasons why we perceive barriers between us. It can be past experiences. It can be the way we're raised. It can be the information that we're fed. It can be so many lies that we believe to be true. On the inhale, slide your hands to your shins, lift halfway for length. Let the shoulders draw away from those ears, long, straight spine. But God loves us all equally. Exhale, bend the knees, fold it out. Inhale, sweep wide. We're gonna lift up, coming all the way up to standing. Like you're gathering love to draw it into your heart, that vertical connection first and foremost, God's love in us. Inhale, sweep, arms are gonna come out. Stretch the arms wide as you fold forward, God's love through us. Lowering down. Inhale, lift halfway for length. Feel that nice, long, strong spine. Exhale, fold out. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Filling up. Draw it into your heart. Inhale, sweep, arms lift. Exhale. That love is meant to be shared. Press it out. Inhale, lift halfway for length. Exhale. Good. One more time like this. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold it out. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. And then we're just going to make our way all the way back up to standing. And take our hands back to heart center. So take a moment to really ground down into your feet. So maybe even lift the toes up so you can spread the toes nice and wide. So you can feel the four corners of your feet. So the outer edges of the balls of the feet, the outer edges of the heels, like you're plugging roots in, rooting down. And then release the toes. Engage your legs, a little softening of the tailbone down. So a lot of times we stand like this. We want to curl that tail down under slightly and draw that navel in and up. So we get nice and strong in our core. Roll the shoulder blades back and down. Crown is lifting up. Beautiful job. And then we're going to go ahead and begin to shift our weight over to the right. Bring the left foot to the interior of your right ankle, with the toe touching the earth if you want to, or you can begin to slide it up into tree. So we are called to be oaks of righteousness, a planting for the Lord's splendor, as it tells us in Isaiah 61. You can bring the arms up if you want to and grow branches. And so here, the cool thing is, and I talk about oak trees quite a bit, they grow in groves, in groups. And they have very deep root systems, and their root systems are shared among them. And so through the root systems, they actually share nutrients. They share food with one another. And when one of the trees is suffering or becomes ill or sick, the other trees will send their nutrients to that tree to help support it. Go ahead and release, coming back down, shake that out a little bit. So when we think about being oaks of righteousness, it's being together in community, supporting one another, helping each other, reaching out to each other when one of us is suffering or sick, right? So we're going to root down into that left foot. We're going to start to bring the right foot to the interior of the ankle with the knee pointed out. Again, you can leave that toe down as a kickstand, or you can begin to bring it up higher, never on the knee. So make sure you don't place it on your knee. Knee is not meant to bend that way, and we don't want that kind of pressure on it. And again, maybe you grow some beautiful branches. Maybe there's some beautiful fruit on your tree, fruits of the spirit. Love, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. What kind of fruit do you want to grow? Lots of breath. Keep lifting from the belly, hugging the midline, the center of the body. Slowly bring the hands back down, float that leg down, shake it out. We got our balance out of the way early. A lot of times I do it at the end when everybody's fatigued. And then they're like, I can't balance. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring our hands to our hips. We'll step that left foot back, and we want that foot to be pointed toward the left front corner of our mat. Make sure you have a wider stance though. So a little bit, yeah. Front knee is tracking with that front foot. We're gonna start to bend into that knee. Make sure your hips are orienting forward, not sideways. So we're gonna make sure hips and shoulders go forward. Arms up. Beautiful job. On the exhale, we're gonna take a cactus arms position, really open the heart. So bring the elbows back. This also helps to strengthen our upper body and open our chest. Inhale, arms are gonna lift up. On the exhale, we're gonna swan dive forward, arms out, folding over that front leg. Inhale, sweep all the way back up. Nice job. Exhale, open here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Little humble warrior. Takes great humility to love unconditionally. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, elbows bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Beautiful. We're gonna hang out here for a few breaths. You can always rest your hand to your thigh. You can also bring the hands to the earth, but maybe you stay up here. Maybe you interlace the hands behind you in a humble warrior. Jesus modeled tremendous humility. He was the example of all humility in terms of the way that he loved. And Martin Luther King, though a human, flawed, right, also had tremendous humility. We're gonna go ahead and reach the hands down to the earth, come onto the ball of that back foot, and then we'll step that back foot forward. Feet about hip width distance, bend those knees, let your belly rest your thighs, and maybe wag it out a little bit here. So we're told in scripture, there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free. There is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Martin Luther King Jr. said, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish as fools. On the inhale, sweep, raise yourself all the way back up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart. Excellent. Once again, ground down, really feel the earth with your feet, long straight spine, core engaged. We're gonna take the hands to the hips, step that right foot back, pivot the foot so that foot is pointing toward your front right corner of your mat, hips square to the front. Good. Bend into that front knee. The knee is tracking with your foot, not collapsing in. So check in. Then we'll reach those arms up, warrior one. Good, keep breathing here. Feel the strength of this posture. It requires tremendous strength to love in the way that we're called to love. On the exhale, bend those elbows. Open the heart, maybe even take your gaze high. We need God's help with it. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, bow out. On the inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bend those elbows. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. Exhale, bend those elbows. Inhale up. Good. Exhale, fold. And we're going to hang out here again. Hands can go to the knee, to the floor on blocks if you have them, wherever you want, or stay here or even reach those hands back. So there was a march in Lebanon, Tennessee, and I read a really cool article on it. And this woman was quoted as saying this: I think it's important that people understand unity means using your influence to help bring others up around you, your friends, your family, even in your own house, your church. That's kind of what Martin Luther King symbolizes through his sermons. So this idea of using our influence to help bring others up around us. Martin Luther King Jr. was quoted as saying, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for other people? What are you doing for others? All boats rise higher. Float those hands down. We'll come on the ball of that back foot. Step the back foot forward. Bend the knees and just let that head hang. All right. On the inhale, lift halfway. It's a nice realignment of the spine. Exhale, fold out. On an inhale, sweep. Let's ride that breath back up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. Hands back to the hips. This time we're going to step our left foot back and pivot it wider. So last time I had you point toward the front corner. This time I want you to point out to the side. So it's almost like the edge of your foot is parallel with the back of your mat. Front knee still tracks with that front foot, but now our hips are orienting sideways. So the hips are open and the shoulders. So bring the arms out. You can take your gaze over your front hand. Release the shoulders away from those ears. Great. This is warrior two. Breathe here. Feel the strength once again, where it's like we're spreading the mat apart with our feet, like outward, and it helps us to become more buoyant and stronger in our core. We're going to reverse this warrior. So take the right hand down. Left hand down, take the right hand high. Reaching up. Now you can always straighten that front leg if you want to really open this up, or take a break. Give that leg a little break. Otherwise, recommit to the bend in your knee. Good. On the exhale, come back to warrior two. We're going to straighten into that front leg and then slide forward like someone's holding your hand and kind of pulling you toward them. Let that hand come to the inside of the ankle near shin. Take that left hand high into triangle. So our front leg is straight as much as possible. Lots of breath. Just feel the opening and the space and the strength of this shape. Beautiful. Keeping the legs as they are, we're going to come back up. And then we're going to reverse this. So take that left hand down, right hand high. Just reversing our little triangle shape. Nice and open. Beautiful. Bring your hands to your heart or to your hips, and we're going to pivot the foot. So now we're wide on our mat. Toes will point forward or they'll angle in slightly. Take your hands to your hip bones. We're going to slide the hip bones back as we fold forward. Just let that head hang. Check in with your breath here. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32 tells us one of the most important aspects of loving one another is forgiveness. It says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Martin Luther King said, we must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. On the inhale, let's lift up halfway. And then we're just going to start bending the right knee and then the left. We're just going to kind of go back and forth, a little stretch into the inner thigh and groin area. Beautiful job. Come back to center. And then take your hands to your hips, maybe a little micro bend or a big bend in those knees to press yourself up. We want to make sure we're nice and strong. Good. And now we're going to actually mix it up. We're going to turn in the opposite direction. So that left foot is going to point forward. Our back foot is going to be parallel with the back of our mat, so which is our right leg. So we're still keeping the hips squared off to the side. Bend into that front knee, coming into warrior two here. Shoulders drawn back and down. Gaze is over that front hand. What are we aiming for? If we can aim for love, we'll come a whole lot closer to achieving it. Take that right hand down. Let's reverse this. Left hand comes high. Breathe here. Feel the strength and the stretch. It requires us to stretch out of our comfort zone, but to be strong in our convictions and our beliefs. Exhale, coming back. We're going to straighten that front leg, slide forward, and then take that left hand to the inside of your ankle, shin, or thigh. Right hand comes high, triangle pose. Keep lifting that right hip, lifting that right shoulder. Where's your breath? You guys look awesome. Keep breathing, so strong. Nice. Slowly begin to come back up, and then we're going to reverse this with straight legs. Stay nice and open here, breathe. Good, come back up. Hands to the hips, pivot that back foot. We're wide on our mat again. Awesome. This time we're going to angle the toes outward. And then we're going to bend the knees, let the knees point out. So you're going to come down like squatting down in a little horsey position. Tuck that tail under, draw the navel in, arms back into cactus arms. This is called goddess pose, little G. But we're nice and open, but strong here. Can we be warriors for love? Can we be fierce for love? Keep breathing. On the inhale, we're going to reach up. Just letting go of what interferes in our ability to love in this way. On the exhale, crisscross the hands behind, bend those knees, and push it out. Inhale. Big scoop of God's pure love washing over us. Draw it into your heart. Inhale, coming up. Crisscross, hands come behind, push out, bend those knees. Inhale, a big scoop. Pure love. Draw it in. Inhale, sweeping up. Letting go. Exhale. Push it out. Inhale, big scoop. And draw it in. We're going to stay here for a couple breaths. Close your eyes. Feel into your heart. Maybe you even stack one hand over the other on your heart space. Just feel that beating heart. Just feeling your love grow and expand. Love your neighbor as yourself. We have to also love ourselves in order to love others well. Receiving God's love, and then we share it. Good. Straighten those legs. Bring your hands to your hips. We'll toe heel the feet toward each other. All right. Bend the knees and we'll slowly lower down. And we're going to come back onto our backs once again. Just check time here. Okay, good. Draw your knees to your chest. And once again, we'll rock a little here. Maybe even circle those knees in the same direction a few times. Just loosening into that low back and giving your little sacrum a massage. And then go in the other direction. Your sacrum is that kind of flat triangular shaped bone at the base of your spine that you're feeling right now. It's 4 to 5 fused vertebrae. It's also known as the sacred bone, because all of life takes place in this area where all our reproductive organs are. We're going to take the knees wide. Just let them kind of splay out here for just a moment. Just loosening here. Opening the hips, keeping the heart open though. So notice if the shoulders are lifting or rounding. Good. Bring those knees back together, and then we're going to float the left foot down. Interlace our fingers behind our right leg, take the right heel high. And then point and flex your foot. This helps to pump our lymphatic system, so returning lymphatic fluid. Also helps with circulation, bringing blood back to the heart and also toward the brain because we're in an inversion. Countering the effects of gravity. It also helps with edema or swelling in the lower extremities. Our calf muscle works like a pump, like another heart. And since we're talking about love, let's focus on all the different parts of the body that are kind of symbolic here. Good. We're going to go ahead and flex that foot. And then on the inhale, gently guide that leg out to the side. Keep your left foot grounded, left hip grounded, and left shoulder grounded. Maybe even take that left arm out for a counterbalance. Stretching into that right inner thigh, opening the body here. Nice job. On the inhale, let's bring that leg up. I'm going to bend my knee here and just place my right ankle above my left knee. So you're going to create like a little number 4 with your legs. Flex your foot. Good. Using your right hand, gently press that right thigh away from your body. So you're going to create a little bit of space in that right hip. You might feel a really nice stretch there. Don't be afraid to apply a little bit of pressure, as long as it feels okay for your knee. Release that, and then we're going to slowly begin to bring our left knee toward us, but keep the right knee out to the side. So maybe you can interlace your hands behind that left thigh and rock a little here. This rocking helps the muscles, the tissues release their grips on the bones, giving us more space. Good. Come back to the center. Take that left heel high. Maybe a little bigger stretch. Notice your breath here. Good. Float that left foot back down, keeping the knee bent. Coming back to that figure 4 shape. Now interlace your hands behind your skull, holding the back of your head, but not using arm strength. We're just supporting the head. Elbows are wide. And then on the exhale, we're going to just do a little lift here, getting into the core. Draw the navel to your spine. On the inhale, lower back down. We're going to do 5 of these. Exhale, go slow. Squeeze all that breath out as you lift. And if you want to, you can add that lift and bring the left knee toward you. And inhale, lower back down, your choice. And exhale. Inhale. Last one, exhale. And inhale. Beautiful. We'll take those arms out to the sides like wings. Let the right knee drape over the left. And then we're going to tick-tock the knees side to side. So exhale to the left, inhale up. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. Do this a few times. Trying to keep our shoulder blades grounded on the earth. And then we're going to let the knees go over to the left with the legs crossed. So we're taking a deeper twist here and a big stretch into the outer right hip and thigh. Soften your right shoulder, gaze over your right hand, breathe. Let your heart be open. Slowly unravel the legs, draw the knees to your chest, rocking a few times. Matthew chapter 5, verses 44 to 45, Jesus said this. He takes the greatest commandment and ups the ante with this one. He says, you've heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. So he's saying not just to love our neighbor, but to love our enemies and to pray for those who persecute us or do harm to us. Martin Luther King Jr. said, love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. Going to go ahead and float that right foot down, planting it on the earth. Take your left heel high, interlacing your hands behind, and we'll point and flex here. It's really interesting how extending love to someone who maybe doesn't like us or maybe who we don't connect with, how it changes things. I've had this experience many times over in owning a business, but also just in my walk, where when I've made that extra effort to love on somebody who maybe in my mind I felt didn't deserve it or wasn't particularly nice to me, how it changed things. And some of those people became some of my favorite people. I just needed love. We'll slowly begin to open that leg all the way out to the side, maybe the right arm out to the side as well for counterbalance. I remember my grandma used to have a saying that said that those who deserve love the least need it the most. Slowly bring that leg back up. We'll bend the knee. Place that ankle just above your right knee. And then use your left hand to gently press that thigh away from your body. If it's available, we'll interlace the hands behind the right leg and slowly begin to tick-tock a little here, side to side. Keep your breath flowing. Keep your heart open. Beautiful. You're going to go ahead and float that foot back down. Interlace your fingers behind your skull, keeping that left knee pointed forward, foot flexed. Now, again, we want to isolate the muscles of our core. So don't use your arms to do the work. Keep the elbows wide and lift from the heart and the core. Coming up. Inhale, lowering down. Again, you can add that additional bonus feature of bringing the knee in, squeezing it out this way. But go where your body is calling you. Keep breathing. And exhale. Nice job. All right, go ahead and bring those arms out. Little angel wings, draw your left knee over your right, and then we're just gonna tick-tock those knees side to side, breathing as we go. Exhaling on the twist. Inhaling on the way back up. If you're doing it opposite that, it doesn't matter as long as it's a nice rhythm for your breath. I just find that twists really lend themselves well to the exhale, but that's just how I like to practice. There are good reasons to do it either way. And then allow the knees to come over to the right, taking that final spinal twist here. Twists are so great. They help us realign our spine. They help to improve the health of our spine. They help us wring out our internal organs and help to detoxify our system and our blood. But they also help us to have a different perspective, to look at things a little differently. So maybe, hopefully, something that was said today made you look at something just a little bit differently, opened you up just a little bit more. Slowly begin to unravel that twist and draw the knees in. Nice big squeeze here. And then slowly make your way into a big full body stretch. So we're going to just extend the legs long, arms overhead. Stretch and reach, lengthen here. Feel all that space. Take a nice inhale through the nose. Get long, exhale out an open mouth. Relax. Inhale, stretch in opposite directions. Exhale, breathe out and relax. Last one, inhale, stretch and reach. And exhale, this time float the hands alongside your hips, let your feet splay open, closing your eyes, coming into a final meditation here. Martin Luther King said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." He went on to say, "I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." And now I give you a new commandment: love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. Allow your body to get quiet and still. Be still and know that I am God. God's words to your ears. And sink into the silence. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Just a very slow awakening of the body. Maybe begin to turn your head from side to side, awakening the mind a little. Gently gather your knees toward your chest one at a time. Rock a few times until you find yourself on one side of your body. It doesn't matter which, just allowing yourself to come into a fetal position, a position of new life, rebirth, possibility, hope for change, growth. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Love is not an emotional bash. It's not empty sentimentalism. It is the active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another." As you're ready, gently press yourself up, finding a seated position. Bring your hands to your heart. Just maybe lay one hand on top of the other once again. Love is an active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. The two greatest commandments. Bring your hands together at heart center and just bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you so much. I thank you for your love, your grace, your forgiveness, your compassion, kindness, mercy. I thank you for the model that you have given to us on how to love one another as you have loved us. Lord, I pray that these words land today, that we take pause to really fathom the kind of love that you have for us and the kind of love that you call us to. That we can be your love and your light here in a dark and hurting world. That our love will help to unite rather than divide. That it will help to heal rather than to hurt. That it will be an outpouring of us, your love through us. We pray all of this in Jesus' holy and powerful name. Amen.